What's up, folks? This week, the assignment is to take your midterm. It's going to be a little bit of an easier one this week because that midterm was a little tough for some folks. Take your stuff from last week and convert everything to external CSS. That's going to be the idea. So this one is going to be more of an exercise in just converting CSS and reworking your page, which is not super hard to do. Just a matter of chugging everything you did in your inline styles and putting it into an external style sheet. So we're just going to go ahead and jump into that because external style sheets are pretty important. All right, what we're going to do here this week is create a style sheet. I'm going to pop up a basic HTML page here inside a style folder. So here, just to break it down again and review a little bit, we've created folders for our documents. We've got our basic HTML page saved into a folder. I've now created a separate folder called, this is what this is going to look like when we're done with it, a folder called CSS with a styles sheet in there, which is a .css sheet inside a folder. Now, so far what we've done as far as HTML goes is stuff like div, style, equals, quotation marks, and putting things inside the style sheet. Remember, this is an inline style. Then we did the stuff where there was a style up top. Say, for instance, we did body, and we did, background color, background color like red, right? This is an on-page style. Okay, so remember, we saw that this style, style tag here, has a higher hierarchy than this style tag here. If you put the same style here and here, this style tag will override it. Well, now with this new type of style sheet, this external style sheet, this is a global style sheet that applies to the whole website. Now, the convenience of this means that you can make styles in an external sheet that apply to say you have 200 pages in a website. It will apply to all 200 pages. Now, the problem with that, and there's pluses and minuses to all of this, this style tag is very strong, but you have to apply it every time to every div. Not very efficient. This is less strong, but you only have to apply it once per page. More efficient, less strong. Global style sheet, less strong. Okay, anything in this tag will override it. This tag would override it, but it applies to the whole website, so it's more versatile. So that's kind of the trade-off. That's the hierarchy of CSS. Now, how do we actually apply this? This is the important part here. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of things here. The style tag for your style sheet, the external style sheet, will go up here right underneath the title tag in your website. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do here is add a link to an external style sheet. Okay, so we don't have an external style sheet yet. I need to make an external style sheet. I have a default one in here, but I'm going to delete that so we make a brand new one. Okay, here's how you make a new style sheet, and then we'll link it up. So in your coding program, file new. Some coding programs will ask you, do you want to make a specific CSS sheet? Some will not. Doesn't matter. Just pick whatever new sheet it gives you, click create. This is your external style sheet right here. Before you do anything, you must immediately save it. File, save as. Make sure you save it in the correct folder. Desktop, I've got this in my external CSS folder inside a subfolder. Save these inside a subfolder to keep things from getting cluttered. CSS. Name this thing anything you want. Now, I would recommend no spaces, no lowercase or no uppercase, no spaces. Something like style.css would be great. Make sure you put .css on the end of it. Okay, that's the important thing. Simple name, .css, save. Okay, now the sheet resides in my website. It is in there, but make sure I have the correct sheet here. But it is not linked up. Okay, so it doesn't matter what I put in this sheet, and this is the most common problem. Say if I wanted to change the background color, body, same thing I did on the internal style tag. Background color, say we'll choose green. Okay. I want to check to make sure if this style works. Currently, what my page looks like, if I open it, it has a red background color. Remember, I added that earlier with that chunk of CSS inside this section. And remember, this will always override my external sheet. So I'm going to leave that in there for now, but let's go ahead and link up the sheet, and then I'll show you that override. Okay. So let's go ahead and get the code to put in an external style sheet. Now, the code for that's pretty easy to use. All you have to do is Google external CSS. Okay, the very first thing that comes up is a great link for this. That's W3 Schools. We've looked at that a couple of times. Here is the link for an external style sheet. It is link rel equals style sheet. Leave this section the way it is. href equals mystyle.css. That's what we're going to change. So we're going to copy this, and I'm going to bring this into my browser. Paste this right underneath your title tag. Okay, right inside the head of your document. Link rel equals style sheet. This is totally fine. That's always the same. This inside the href, remember hyperlink reference. Inside there is where we're going to change this. Now, in computer lingo, we've looked at this with images, placing images. If something's in a folder, remember, you've got to put the name of the folder first. Over here in my href, I'm going to put CSS / and look, Dreamweaver is even keying to this. Remember, / is going down into a folder. Okay, I'm going to look for style.css. Okay, so / it even finds it, style.css. I'm going to click that. Now, if I save and I fire this up in a browser, I've already got it open down here. I'm just going to refresh in a browser. Red background, refresh. Look, still red background, even though I put a green background in my code, in my external style sheet. This internal style is overriding that. Okay, so I'm going to remove this internal style, save my sheets, refresh, check it out. Green background, okay, because this style tag is more strong than the external style tag, but this is global, okay? I can link this to a million pages. For instance, things like this. I could set up my H1 tags inside here, and I could set up a specific color for my H1 tags. Say if I wanted to set a font size for my H1 tags, let's just say 25 point. And whatever else you wanted, margin, padding, all kinds of different things. If I apply those to my H1s out here, okay, or not, make sure I don't put a dot on there. That's that would be for a specific class. But for an H1, for all of my H1s in my document, now anytime I use an H1, say if this test right here, okay, that's already on my page, I wanted to turn this into an H1. I add an H1 tag here. Make sure it closes around my text. Save. And bingo, check it out. It is now the correct style, okay, based on what I've got set in my external sheet. So if you think of this like a menu, right, you could do a whole menu full of stuff. You could set a standard structure for all kinds of different things on your document. Say I wanted these H2s to be, I don't know, corn silk. And their size was, let's say, 20 point font, okay? You could just keep going down the line. Set this H2, copy that, paste this, set an H3, set an H4, set an H5. Set up the styles for everything, for all the divs in your document. You could set up the styles for the paragraphs inside here. Make this a menu, okay? This is a whole menu of stuff. And then what you can do is comment this. So here's the cool thing about your sheet is you can go in, you can do / asterisk, just Shift 8 on your keyboard, and then you could say something like heading styles here, okay? Close your asterisk, close your / This is a CSS comment, okay? The cool thing about this is that when you're making your menu, you could set up the headings. Boom, all your headings go here. Copy and paste this little notation. Now I could set up all the navigation styles. Right? And I could start doing it all my HTML or all my CSS for my nav bar. I could go, #nav and set up the ID for my navs inside here. And I could start getting some standard structures plugged out, which I'll talk about more in a minute. So that's kind of the idea here of this. And now that all these things are plugged in, I could very simply, if I don't like this H1, my client wants me to change it to something else, I go, okay, let's try an H2. And now, very quickly, everything changes. Also, imagine if you've got this H2 spread across 400 pages of a website, or say 50 pages of a website even. And again, a client doesn't like the look of this H2. Okay, it's all over the place. They'd say this corn silk, we're not digging this corn silk. You can just in one spot, okay, in one spot for 150 pages go in and go, you know what, this corn silk, we're not liking this. Let's just change this to lemon chiffon. Save. Now, everywhere, now that wasn't a massive change. Lemon chiffon is pretty close to corn silk. But the idea is this changes everywhere across 200 pages with one little shift in my external document. That's the point, okay? It's a global style to change things very quickly and easily. Think templates, guys. This is the whole point, is you guys can download a template off of the internet, change a couple of things in the background of a template, you've got a brand new website. That's the genius here of this HTML CSS Connect. So that's kind of what we're talking about here. That's all I'm wanting you to do this week. This is not a super long lecture this week, but I'm wanting you to take all of your styles, try to put everything you've got inside an external style sheet, and try to experiment a little bit with this CSS hierarchy. Remember, again, the things that are inside a tag, style equals, say if I go color red, okay, remember the things that are inside style tags override external style sheets, okay? And the things inside here, and remember, get overridden by the inline style, right? Then make this one color black. It's still red. This style hierarchy is strongest. Remember, inside the style tag, black now, right? This is the second strongest hierarchy. And the third strongest hierarchy, save this, now we're back to lemon chiffon, is inside your external style sheet. Bingo, right here, okay? So that's CSS hierarchy for you. External CSS sheets. It's not a super complicated thing, but it's a preferred way of setting things up. And I'd like you guys to spend a whole week just looking up external style sheets, playing with external style sheets. Think of this like a menu. Okay, try that grid generator that I showed last week. Paste all the stuff inside your external style sheet and try to use that thing for your layout. Okay, so there you go. Again, if you got questions this week, feel free to fire them at me via Canvas, via Teams. I can set up individual meetings with you if you need anything. But that's all we got for this week. All right, good luck to you.